Reach for the sky, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And Blue Dragon 5.
Jacob Wild 2.
And Monkey.
And welcome to the Toy Story 3 10-year anniversary retrospective podcast. And you know what that means, guys. We're all getting old. We're all getting old.
You're old. I don't remember the middle of that song. You have multiple chins because you're old. And then it cuts to Pearl giving him breakfast, and Pearl's voice actress is in this movie, so it ties back together, fuckers.
Lori Allen.
All right, so Toy Story 3, of course, a big landmark movie in the Pixar catalog. One of the only Pixar movies to get nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars. Big landmark there.
It's the most recent animated film in history to be nominated for Best Picture.
Indeed. And just in general, I feel like Toy Story 3 just has a big legacy behind it. Shrouded in a little bit of darkness in the third act. I feel like this is one of the most hard-edged kids movies to come along in the last decade, especially because of that third act. We'll get there. We'll build up to it. But this movie, of course, has a lot to offer all the way around as the capper to the Toy Story trilogy. It's a huge generational gap movie. It's my argument for why I think all the good Pixar movies should have a time jump in them. Incredibles too. So I just think the time jump, in all seriousness, just works so incredibly well in this movie, and it's just they just use it to their advantage to create just such drama, such pathos. What more needs to be said about it, man? This movie's an icon. It's one of the best animated movies of the last decade. It's one of the best Pixar movies, period. It's easily, I think, the best Pixar sequel they've ever done. So, yeah, that's my basic thesis on it. Gentlemen.
Yes. Well, yeah, Toy Story 3, it is an excellent one. I do kind of feel like, that's for later in the thing, but yeah, Toy Story 3, it's Toy Story 3. I'm so clear about what I'm saying.
It's a movie.
Well-renowned movie for good reason.
You're allowed the title.
It's a movie that exists. But, all right. Sorry, but I guess I can go. Then,
yes.
Believe it or not, this is one of the few Pixar movies I did not get to see. I did not see in theaters. I kind of missed out because it came out while I was in high school. It came out in high school, and I'm during I think it was during my junior year, and I was busy doing other things around that time. So unfortunately I didn't get to see it. I had to catch this one on DVD, but so unfortunately I don't have any nostalgia of seeing it in the theaters. I remember seeing the second one. So, but I have to admit, I definitely agree that Pixar knocked it out of the park with this one. This was basically this is almost as perfect as you can get as far as Pixar goes. It has everything you could ever ask for and more. And definitely earned its reputation as one of their best outings.
Monkey, do it.
Do what?
Say your piece on it, man. Come on, I know you can.
Oh, are we talking memories or something now?
No, we're just talking general thesis statement on the movie.
Oh, buddy. General thesis statement. Well,
yeah, just
Toy
say
Story
something other than the fact that it's a movie. Come on.
Okay,
I want to hear your opinion.
Yeah, okay. I guess what I meant was Toy Story 3, it is an excellent sequel that certainly deserves the praise. It's a good follow-up to the previous two Toy Story films. I'm not sure I'd say it's my personal favorite for whatever reasons. It could also be nostalgia-based, but yeah, I guess what I was getting at earlier was how everyone says Toy Story 3 is great. It's great.
Right. Gotcha. Okay, Dragon, do we have time before we get to your stuff to get into Claude's little thought experiment really quick, the ranking the Toy Story movies?
Well, I was hoping to get to my thesis in nostalgia, but I mean, if you want.
Go ahead and get to your thesis in nostalgia, and then Claude will do that right after because that sounds like a fun game.
Okay, so just the overall, the whole ball of wax here. So Toy Story 3 was probably the most anticipated Pixar film ever. Like it was 11 years since the last one. It was. I was very into this film production wise. I was very into every aspect of this film. I was the hype. I remember building hype on my trip once I went to Disney way back when. Back when I was able to go frequently. I think it was like maybe the second to last time I went. I'm not sure. And I remember I was in my favorite attraction, the Art of Animation exhibit, and in there you have you have a little area with all the production artwork, and they had the posters to the oncoming Pixar films, and they're in bold and like right there and kind of in the heart of Disney, if you will, to an extent. I mean, you had the Toy Story 3 poster, like it's actually happening. It's not all speculative. It's actually happening. It was a special feeling. You see Up, and then right next to it, Toy Story 3. Awesome. So I mean, I was very into it. I remember these. I went to a screening of a double feature of Toy Story and Toy Story 2 in theaters, which I never saw the original Toy Story in theaters. So when I was able to, bear in mind, I forget if it was the 3D one or not because it was so long ago. But I remember I probably yeah. So when I saw it, it was I just love the audience reaction to seeing like these movies I love so much. Like, being able to kind of get the full, especially to the first one, just getting. Just the live experience of seeing everyone laugh at the same parts we've laughed at for years, and in part the other reason I went was for the Toy Story 3 trailer. Like, there's a big buzz about you're going to see the Toy Story 3 trailer if you go to this double feature. That was a big part of why I went. Like, oh my god, I saw it on the big screen.
Yeah, a big buzz indeed.
Yeah, that's why I just.
Yeah. So basically, I recaptured my youth through a lot of. I kind of recaptured the youth of Toy Story mania that I had for Toy Story 2 with Toy Story 3. I mean, I remember they released the collection series of the Toy Story figures, like the ones with the certificate of authenticity. Like all those got the collectible toys, which were amazing and just blew my mind away. So the closest thing you're going to have to owning the movie, like in real life, to an extent, like having like the actual Buzz Lightyear in the box from the movie when it crash lands and everything. It's amazing stuff like that. I saw. I saw the film with my whole family when it came out, just like I did with Toy Story 2 again. It was a big event for me. So as I said, film was an event into the thesis area. The answer to how does it get better than Up? That's kind of what this movie was. The answer, how can it possibly get better than Pixar's last adding? Answer, hold my drink, Toy Story 3. I was blown away by the storytelling. It's like seeing, blown away by the storytelling, seeing your oldest friends return to the next logical question of, what is a toy's fate at the end of the day? It's the day, it's like the day that Buzz and Woody expected finally arrived, that we talked up at the end of Toy Story 2. Like, like one of these days Andy's going to grow up and then boom, movies, the whole crux of the movie is, okay, well, that day has finally arrived. And even though we knew it was coming, we're never going to be prepared for it. Bonded parent and child for a third time in a completely different way than ever before. It completely welcomed the new audience and respected the audience that grew up with it. It's a perfect swan song that absolutely should have gotten that 2010 Oscar.
Yep.
Well, I think anything in 2010 should have gotten it over the King's Speech. Let's be honest here.
Both Hurt Locker got it, Tiki.
Oh, right. Okay, my bad.
Well, definitely should have gotten it over the Hurt Locker.
Yeah.
Wait, no, are you sure about
I think
that?
it was King's Speech that year.
Oh, yeah,
Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure because
2010.
Hurt Locker was 2009.
Oh, yeah, you're right. No, you're right. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. I'm thinking of
Hurt Locker is the one that beat Avatar.
I'm thinking of Up also. I kind of wanted Up to get in 2009. That's what I'm thinking of. So yeah, you're right. Should have got it with King's Speech. Yeah.
Dragon Up was 2008, buddy.
Up was 2009.
Yeah, it was 2009.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
Wall-E
my
was
bad.
08.
How dare you?
Went up against the similarly named Up in the Air as well.
Okay, I'm sorry. Anyways.
Anyway.
Okay, so can we do this little ranking game really quick?
Yeah.
Okay, so Claude says, what is your favorite of the 4 Toy Stories in order? I wonder where Claude, we don't have time to fit the Toy Story specials into the ranking. Maybe we'll do that on the standalone podcast one day, buddy, but we don't have time to get into that right now. We've got stuff to do with Toy Story 3, but
I already put my answers in the comments.
Just in terms of the four, I would say in order of favorite to least favorite, 3 is my favorite, followed by 1, followed by 2, followed by 4. Not to say that 4 is bad at all. I think 4 is definitely fantastic in some spots.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that 4 doesn't necessarily need to be there. It's still really, really good. It's a great epilogue. It's just, especially after seeing this movie again, man,
Yeah.
it kind of
It is
affirms
weird
that
how
this-
many. It is kind of weird. Like there's so many moments in this one where it's that feel like, yeah, this is a moment for the last movie, like whatever callbacks or finality moments, and then there's the fourth one now.
Yeah, rewatching it kind of affirms that fact, I gotta say. So I do like 4. 4's got a lot of good stuff to offer, especially the ending. I think the ending to 4, not as powerful as the ending to this movie, but I'd say easily the second most powerful ending to a Toy Story movie. But still, so that would be so my ranking would be 3, 1, 2, 4. Dragon.
Oh, it's an impossible choice for me, but I mean, the boring answer might be just kind of like, very straightforward, because nothing's ever going to stop my love for the first movie, so one's always going to be on the top of that list. So it's going to, but again, I have a lot of nostalgia for 2, so it's kind of like 1, 2, 3, 4. But I mean, if I'm being honest, though, it's probably going to be, it might be 1, 3, 2, 4, but it's either very boringly straightforward or maybe 1, 3, 2, 4. I mean, they're all fantastic. I love them all. It's hard to choose over your darlings, but it's what it is.
And Jacob, you said 4, 1, 2, 3. Does that mean that 4 is the one you like the most?
It's least to best.
Oh, least to best. Okay, so 3, 2, 1, 4. Okay, so that's basically switching it up. Only you like 2 a little bit more than I do. Okay, Monkey.
I'm thinking 2, 1, 3, 4. I'm sure
Okay.
there's a lot of nostalgia in there and such, but yeah, I'm guessing that's where I'd be. Maybe 1 and 3 could be interchangeable. Maybe not. I'm gonna stick with that for now.
Gotcha.
And again, all excellent, all really great films, all really good ones.
Not
That's
a
just the
stinker in the
ranking
bunch.
system for you.
Not a stinker in the bunch, folks.
All right.
Yeah.
So, Dragon, where should we go from here?
Well, I mean, I kind of worked in my nostalgia. Unless you guys have anything else while we're reminiscing about our memories and such. I mean, by all means. Otherwise, we'll just move into the background.
Okay, well, yeah, memories. I mean, Dragon, your story is sounding similar to mine. Like, someone who grew up on Toy Story and of course, eventually Toy Story 2 and, had Toy Story merchandise and such, like the toys and the games and things. And so, yeah, Toy Story is a special spot for me. And I feel like when this movie came out, I was in a spot, where I could appreciate it more than I would have than at the age where I would have then as a young child, but maybe not appreciate it as much as I would say 10 years hence. Still good stuff, but age and your effects on appreciating things. and yeah, this.
The funny thing about 2 for me is I know it's not the first one I ever saw in theaters, but it's actually my furthest memory of the first movie. It's the first movie I remember seeing in theaters.
Right.
I mean, I didn't really understand it or anything, but so I was unfortunately, I didn't get to see this one, as I mentioned before. But I did get to watch on DVD, and my nephew likes to watch this pretty much every day. So this movie is kind of burned in my memory.
I had that experience with Monsters Inc.
Hmm.
Monsters Inc. My cousins watched it all the time, and also different teachers at my school would play it all the time, just on their hangover days. Hey kids, we're gonna go watch Monsters Inc. because why the hell not? It kind of briefly ties into sociopolitics.
Did they show that as many times as Dr. Strangelove? Wait, no, of course they didn't.
Oh man, Dr. Strangelove. Let's see. I got shown Dr. Strangelove in film class, in history class. I'm not even joking here. I think in drama class too. I want to say at least 3 different classes.
At the end of Toy Story 2, Wheezy's like, "My Fuhrer, I can squeak!"
And I want to say the exact same classes showed me Holy Grail. Yeah, I had a good high school. Anyways. So yeah, speaking of high school, that kind of ties into my nostalgia a little bit because I was much like Andy. I was I was kind of lost in college at the time that this movie came out. I was because when I went off to college, I was actually, you were kind of like successful in doing what I wanted to do, which was get a theater degree. I just didn't find a clique that I really jived with. I just found the theater arts crowd in my college to be very cliquey, and I was just like, these are not the people I want to spend 4 years with. That's all good. But yeah, I was kind of lost in college. I didn't know what the hell I was doing when this movie came out. So this movie definitely gave me just kind of like that loss of childhood innocence vibe, hardcore. And like I said, it just definitely very much struck me in terms of just, this is probably the first time I remember, besides maybe something like Lost, I don't know. But just for a major... But just for a major animated film, this is definitely the first time I remember for an animated project having a time jump be such a significant thing. It bears such weight to the plot. So that's a big takeaway for me.
Yeah, I think I remember, like, back when first hearing the premise of this, I was like, grown up, I don't want to see that. But of course, they did super well with it, and it absolutely made sense for where the story should go. So, youth. Yeah.
The arrogance of youth.
Yeah. I think I once, like, years before this was, like a long time before I knew this was going to be a thing, like, there was that, the zoetrope, not the Toy Story zoetrope, but in the Sorcerer's Workshop at DCA, where you go into the room and have the little zoetropes there and you make an animation. I think I tried to make a Toy Story 3 one once.
Really?
Yeah. I think I remember some cast member being like, oh, what could happen in that one? So, I don't know. Also, just throwing it out there, I think, again, showing my Toy Story childhood ties, I think, like, I think one time, like, I got a cast member's autograph in the autograph book because his name was Andy.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Andy's coming.
Oh God!
I certainly thought of that during this rewatch. Yeah, it's funny. I just happened to rewatch this movie last month because Tony Goldmark was doing a live tweet of it. So.
Oh, nice.
Reason, yeah. He does live tweets on his Escape from Vault Disney Twitter feed. Check it out soon. He's probably posting up the choices for the next live tweet as we speak.
All right. So should we move on to Moments, Dragon?
Well, I had some background I was going to get in there.
Oh, background. Right. Of course. Go for it.
So here's how we get a movie like Toy Story 3. So, story time. Okay.
This is a story all about... Sorry.
Anyway, so Pixar essentially, just to simplify things a little bit here, Pixar had a raw deal with Disney for many years. Essentially, they were very much pressured not to make a flop, and Disney got most of the money. So there was a certain point where they reached the end of the initial contract with their butting heads with Michael Eisner. Again, folks, Eisner's kind of the bad guy in this story, so buckle up. So he's they're butting heads with Eisner over the 5-picture deal because Eisner's trying to squeeze kind of blood from a stone on this one, where basically the 5 films were Toy Story to Nemo. And in the midst of that, like almost smack dab in the middle, well, I guess smack dab in the middle, is Toy Story 2, which, Eisner debated, well, no, that doesn't count. It's a sequel to the original property. I want 5 properties, darn it. Where,
it was also supposed to be direct to DVD first, right?
Exactly, that was another
I mean, direct to video.
Yes. Essentially, yeah, it was supposed to be direct to video, and then Eisner, he's probably adding that as a feather in his cap for why it shouldn't count as well. So the point being, things are getting tense, and then we have the foreboding split. I remember this period. Well, it was a nightmare during this period. The idea, God, what's going to happen with Disney? We've had like this string of fantastic movies with the kind of the alliance with Disney and the the distribution with Disney and so on and so forth. But what's going to happen if that it gets complicated if they split and Pixar's out on its own there.
And then I legitimately remember the premise for Ratatouille coming out and not knowing if Ratatouille was going to be a Pixar movie or a Disney movie, or if it was going to be like the first Pixar movie that wasn't a Disney movie.
I'm with you.
I remember
Basically, there was
I remember Warner Brothers tossing in their hat at one point.
Oh God.
Now, I don't know if this is just some weird fake memory, but I kind of remember, this being talked about at the time, and I don't know if it's just whatever came to my mind. It very well could have been, but why do I seem to remember the possibility of them making, like, I don't know, an adult war movie?
Well, I mean, they did. They wanted to try to make something about the 1906 earthquake.
Yeah, is that what you're thinking of, Rob?
It's possible.
Which is
Well,
supposed to be,
that's what you might be thinking of.
it's supposed to be,
Might be, it might not be.
it was supposed to be live. It was meant to be live action, but I do remember.
Yeah.
And directed by Brad Bird, but
Yeah.
I think that's safe to say that fell by the wayside.
Yeah.
Anyway. So the point being, so the next 3 Pixar films had that cloud hanging over it, basically going up to Ratatouille. There's a question of, especially by the time we get to Ratatouille, that's you can tell even if you're not in the know, because that's when the logo changes to Ratatouille. So that's how you'll know. But now, well, they changed the logo for all of them, so I guess maybe you won't fully know. I guess now.
The logo changed with Wally. Wait, didn't it change with Wally?
Are you sure about that? Well, you might be right. I don't think.
I mean, because Ratatouille.
You mean the castle logo?
Yeah, they changed the castle logo. Yeah.
Yeah, no, like that. Yeah, that was Wally.
Okay, I guess. Okay, anyway.
I'm not sure when
castle
Pixar did
logo
it. I know
changed
Disney did it in
Meet the
06.
Robinsons.
No, I know they used the new castle logo with Nightmare Before Christmas in 2006. So, and they might have used it once before then. So
I very much remember them making a big deal out of it with Meet the Robinsons.
Wait a minute,
when that came out.
Jacob. Yeah, it would have been that. That's what I'm saying. If it changed from
granted,
Wally,
Pixar might have still used their unique castle logo at the time. I don't quite remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first Pixar movie to use the updated Weddle logo was Wally.
Are you sure that was the first?
Yeah.
Okay.
I watched Ratatouille like last month.
Well, I know.
The edit they do with the castle logo for Toy Story 1 now bugs me so much, but that's a different topic.
Anyway,
Okay.
my point.
Dragon, go ahead. Sorry.
Next 3 Pixar films, they get made with that cloud hanging over them. Eisner, he sets up Circle 7. This is a big thing. He sets up Circle 7, which essentially was kind of his threat to make sequels without Pixar's involvement, which basically all of the original 5 movies, the original 5 pictures, or like technically 4 pictures, I think, the way you look at it. The point being, the original movies, they was planning on making sequels to, and basically Toy Story 3 was the one that was touted up the first front out in the line. The big thing I remember about this being the old pitch for the Buzz Lightyear being recalled to Taiwan, and the big famed image of the only image I could find in looking for Toy Story 3 way back when was the whole Buzz Lightyear ride with that giant kind of caution tape recalled. It's like it was big.
Was that billboard in one of the parks?
I don't know if it was in the parks. All I know
could have
was,
very well been.
If you looked for Toy Story 3 around that time, you would be getting that smack like around the time of The Incredibles, you'd be finding that image.
Circle 7 was.
It could have been Rob. It could have been in one of those billboards around DCA, around Hollywood Studios. As you walk
that's
in.
what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Circle 7 was a dark time.
It was. So, one being Circle 7 set up, and Eisner's ready to go with that. Long story short, Disney, they get fed up with Eisner for a number of reasons. That was like one of the final straws. So they, Eisner's kind of pressured to leave, bring in Bob Iger.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bob Iger saves the day with the $7.4 billion team up with deal with Pixar. They kind of brings
Thank
him
you, Hong Kong Disneyland Parade.
Yep. He's not joking. That parade was a big.
And Lasseter's patience at the times.
Yep, it was the impetus.
Yes.
So anyway, so there's also kind of like an implied deal for like 3 sequels. Like I don't know how necessarily inked into the contract it was, but essentially, they wanted 3 sequels, and the lead, of course, was Toy Story 3. But again, it wasn't like a force, like you gotta do sequels. So these was like, we'd like you to do sequels. Perhaps some of these, and they already wanted to make a Toy Story 3 anyway, but in their own time instead of like do it now.
Uh-huh.
So they want to do anyway, so they do it at their own pace because Pixar's guiding philosophy has always been they don't want to do sequels unless there's a story worth telling, unless they actually crack a story worth telling for the film itself. So what happens in terms of the production? So they organized the original team. You know, you got the original surviving team, because unfortunately Joe Ramp no longer with us from the original Toy Story Brigade. We have John Lasseter, we got Andrew Stanton, we got Pete Docter, and we have Lee Unkrich, who was the director, and the co-director, and the editor on the original Toy Story films.
I'm wondering now, what if Joss Whedon had stayed on for this one?
It would have been crazy, I'll say that much. Bear in mind, Whedon was kind of like, he was one of a number of writers. He wasn't the main guy.
I know, he was there.
You're right, you're not wrong. So,
It's still surreal to think that he technically co-wrote the first Toy Story.
yeah. So, they do, let's see, so they do what they did on Toy Story 2. Toy Story 2 was a very haggard production because, again, they had the big turnaround going from direct-to-video to theatrical, which caused a lot of chaos, and they threw out half the movie, like, very close to delivery date, so it was insane. So what they did is they hunkered down for a weekend at John Lasseter's house to fix the story, and they did that yet again.
Johnny's.
Yes. So they hunkered down yet again for Toy Story 3 and kind of figuring out the skeleton of the story. You get a lot of ideas. They do what they did in Toy Story 2, and kind of the age-old kind of principle of doing a Toy Story movie right is you reach back into the original stuff and the concepts that didn't make the cut, and you bring into the next movie. So we kind of did that here with Tin Toy. They reached all the way back to the original Tin Toy draft, way back when Toy Story starred a ventriloquist dummy and the Tin Toy instead of Buzz and Woody.
Oh, wow.
And they pulled the characters from, like, Lotso came from that draft. And Lotso is also like a very small cameo in the first Toy Story movie, but he's like not Lotso at all, but he's just kind of like a stuffed bear. They kind of, the point being he's a leftover. And they kind of repurposed
Oh, the one
him.
up on the shelf?
Yeah, that's supposed to be Lotso, technically, yeah. Anyway.
Animation has come so far.
It has. So the point being, they kind of reach back, pull some concepts and some inspiration from the other Toy Story films in the developmental phases they bring into the fold here. John Lasseter, at this time, per the Disney deal, he became the chief creative officer for a spell, and we get Lee Unkrich in on things to direct because he's a little too busy at that point, building Toy Story Land and all things of the like, and being kind of the emergency director of Cars 2. That's a whole another issue, but we're not going to talk about that now. So we bring in Lee Unkrich to kind of fully, like direct solo for a change. Big thing for him. He had worked on, Finding Nemo and Monsters Inc. at this point, Toy Story 2. So the guy had credentials. Brings in Michael Arndt. The guy who did Little Miss Sunshine.
Yeah, he would have
That was
directed
a
Solo,
really
but they
inspired
replaced him with Ron
director.
Howard.
What?
God.
What happened?
Sorry.
He's just making a
Tiki.
solo joke.
Anyway, so point being, Michael Arndt, excellent writer for this. What he did is he studied a bunch of the Pixar films. He analyzed the 3-act structure. This guy did his research. I love.
Oh, yeah,
Michael
big
Arndt.
time.
Great writer. So anyway, so let's see. So they construct a story reel, basically just do an animatic and a story reel for the whole movie instead of sending the actors the scripts and everything. Let's face it, the actors, they wanted in on the project regardless of what it was going to turn out to be. They got to be in it on. So they show them that, moves them to tears. So we build up the hype of, oh god, Toy Story 3 is going to be something special. A lot of animation challenges. Wouldn't be a Pixar film without animation challenges. So what happens is not only do they have to update the human models, which, as you remember, they cut the mustard, but they always could be improved as the films went on. And by the time we get up, they're doing caricatured human models. Same thing with Incredibles. We caricatured human models, not quite, just like straightforward. And of course, there's always the battle of the uncanny valley. So they're fixing that for the movie. Then they're updating the original characters because all the Toy Story 2 models, which again haven't been used in 11 years, and technology's come a great deal since then. The Guido Corone, they have to use like one of the supervising technical animator guys. They use his old computer. With all the models on, because it's been so many years to get the models, so they can fix them and upgrade them. They're doing shots with 302 characters, which is insane. It's like all hands on deck for 2 weeks. Like, everyone stop what you're doing. We got to animate the big daycare shot with all the characters. Of course, the thing that brought them to their knees, as Tiki is well aware, trash bags.
Oh yeah, big time.
I made a note about that. The trash bags look amazing.
They do. And again, that
Like,
is every
especially
time.
when they're wriggling around in it and you see it from the outside. Oh, that looks good. Still holds up.
Yeah, and they said if you want to do an animated movie, don't do trash bags.
Every time you see trash bags, think of animators in a fetal position crying.
It's like a modern day example of bumping the lamp.
Yeah, you hear that kid from American Beauty? They're not beautiful at all. They're painful.
So let's see. So
This isn't Kevin Spacey's in a different Pixar movie.
Oh god, yes he is, Monkey.
So they're researching escape movies, and they're visiting garbage dumps and everything for the third act of it all there. So
They're
big
watching
theme of
Brave Little Toaster.
I imagine they are. I imagine they would be.
Well, actually, was actually involved in that, wasn't he?
Well, John Lasseter. Well, wait,
Yeah,
no,
he
Joe.
was, yeah.
Well, Joe Ranft was involved in that one. Joe
Yeah,
Ranft
yeah.
was-
Thank you. Yeah.
Let's see. So the theme of the movie was from the outset was change and how we deal with it. And I feel, you know, while there was a reunion quality to the film, getting the old gang back together, updating things, bringing Toy Story back for the next generation. You know, I think the film also captured that theme of change in the production appropriately enough. Of course, as you know, gets the Best Picture nomination, highest grossing film until Frozen, and the rest is history.
All right. Okay, so now let's get to moments, right? Pretty
Let's
much.
let's just talk about the movie, guys. Yeah.
Okay. So obviously, the first thing we have to touch on. I mean, we don't really want to make this too linear, but we got to talk about that cold open.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
yeah.
opening is
Like-
fantastic.
Like
all
this
those
thing- it's
all those
basically
callbacks, wonderful.
a combination of like basically the first two playtimes coming together in a wonderful way.
Yep.
Yes, I love
It's
that.
just like you're just watching it and you're just like, oh my god, this is like the big blockbuster version of what I always imagined playtime would be, just right before my eyes.
It's a really great idea, kind of this fusion of the two openings, where we're kind of seeing it through the kid's imagination, kind of a la the Buzz Lightyear video game opening from the second one, but also using pretty much the script from the first Toy Story movie, essentially
Yes.
the events that happen. So I love this as a reintroduction for the next generation, and again how it's
And a welcome reintroduction for those who haven't seen, for characters we haven't seen in almost 11 years.
yes, and also it builds off the original really well. It's kind of has that cool kind of hyper stylized Western vibe. It's a Western, but it has like troll dolls as orphans that are careening off
Yes.
birds that just blew up like a,
We gotta protect the orphans.
A pink
Justin
Corvette,
Timberlake and Anna Kendrick,
Oh
no!
god.
and also a pink Corvette for the aliens.
yeah, Barbie's Corvette. Yeah,
Well, that
I'm
doesn't.
guessing it's because of this sequence that, this one unpopular critic thought Ham was a villain when he did his review of the movie.
okay.
I kid you not, there's like someone who's like gave the movie a negative review and he thought Ham was a villain.
I'm well aware of that one stinker guy because I remember like looking at the reviews when the movie came out, like 100%, 100%, and then wait, 99. Who's the one
God.
guy? Who's the
There's
one
always the
guy?
one guy, Dragon. There's
Always that
the
one guy. Wasn't a problem in the 90s, God forbid. But
I was like,
moral degradation of society, I
Like,
tell you.
it's like-
Anyway.
okay, 2 minutes are up, the movie's over.
Anyway, so Buzz Lightyear comes flying in, very awesomely getting to see Buzz fly in all his glory, lifting the train and like coming on with the laser, splitting the car.
I don't think I understood his catch the train pun until watching it last month.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know how.
He caught the train. It's pretty straightforward. He caught the train.
If I could explain it, I would.
All right. So we have some really great callbacks again to the original, like the force field. Like this is my force field dog. This is my dinosaur who eats force field
With
dogs.
the Jurassic Park roar.
Of course.
Oh my god, yeah.
Then we get to see in its full glory out of the evil Dr. Porkchop's spaceship. We have
Mr. Evil Dr. Porkchop.
to you. We have Death by Monkeys. Oh god, Death
Sorry.
by Monkeys is glorious.
Can I say I remember watching the commentary. I was like, technically, it was Brad Bird's idea to make the monkey explosion look like a nuclear explosion.
Yeah, he came out with the mushroom cloud thing. Yeah.
Yeah. A monk room cloud. That was a horrible pun. Yeah, Tiki, can't you just picture Rex swinging out on the Jurassic Park ride at Hollywood? Like the T-Rex
Oh
does?
yeah, I could picture that. Yeah, maybe in an overlay
Ah,
or something.
are you scared?
Well, I mean, Toy Story 2 did homage to Jurassic Park.
Oh yeah, I did.
It did.
Yeah, the dinosaur overboard.
Okay, anyways.
I'm not even gonna try to do a Wallace Shawn impression.
My favorite thing about this opening, but still after all these years, my favorite thing is much like Toy Story 2. I think the Pixar films have really been trying, they really kind of almost had a streak of doing. They really like to foreshadow the events of the movie within the openings, and we did that a little bit in Toy Story 2, obviously the Buzz Lightyear game for all the diluted Buzz stuff, and we do it here really well with even better here, where we foreshadow the big climax of the incinerator with the big moment. Once we get Death by Monkeys, they're all being their arms are being held out, and they're all looking away from this giant kind of essentially they're about to perish and be incinerated by the giant evil Dr. Porkchop ship,
Foreshadowing.
and they all. Yeah, and they all look away, and that's what I'm talking about. I love the foreshadowing and on the rewatch. It's so fantastic, and these are the same music cue and everything. It's amazing.
So, of course, one of the big things we get to is the montage, which I feel like everyone in America, everyone across the world, when that music got dramatic and it just quickly faded.
The abrupt
Yes,
stop.
on
The
the word.
abrupt stop.
That was the
Our
abrupt
friendship
stop
will
heard
never
around the
die.
world. Oh God,
That's chills right there, man.
I know. Oh God.
that's like what they were trying to do with like the whole bullshit Cars 3. Like, hey, we're killing off Lightning McQueen. Like, no, this is the real version of that.
the big symbol being like people you're gonna grow up in a flash. Even though you're watching the old home movies, the kids are gonna grow up like that right before their eyes. So yeah, we have some really great.
Sorry.
We have great status quo establishing moments that speak volumes within this little opening. Once we have after all, by the way, it's so fun. They did in VHS so to cover up the in case there are any imperfections with the young Andy model because they're focusing all their animation updating on the human models for the adult humans and all the other kids they did, but not like Andy from Toy Story 2. But the animators went the extra mile, so it's like they didn't even need to do it in the crappy VHS. It looked awesome though. Anyway.
Well, they finally updated for 4.
Oh, they did. No, I'm saying they updated for 3 too, so they didn't even have to, but they did. Went the extra mile.
Yeah.
So the bit that always struck me, and these are like the little bits that really just that still stick out. When Woody's on the phone, you can see with all his Woody just wants to talk into the phone with Andy, but he just can't.
Oh yeah,
It's such an emotional moment that kind of sets the tone for Woody and the whole thing. Like, oh God, if only he could, if only he could speak to Andy.
And I really love how the Toy Story movies they slowly build the human interaction to when we get to 4, they're using like the voice command stuff to directly interact with the humans. But one of the things that really strikes me about this movie is the use of like the inanimate poses and how dramatic they are. So, for example, we do get a kind of a funny bit when Andy's going through the toy box looking for the phone, and Rex kind of clings onto him.
Yeah, I mean, and Rex again,
He held me.
I love like the stiffness in the hands when he just takes us because he had to really kind of rip his phone out of there, man. That's like, oh God, it's like Rex in his inanimate form holding him as hard, holding on to it as hard as he can.
So it's kind of a comedic beat. It's like, oh, Rex won't let go, haha. But at the same time, it's very dramatic, and I also I really like that we see the inanimate form take on such dramatic heft in this movie, just in general.
Yeah, and speaking of the dramatic heft as a whole, with all this, with kind of this opening, when we touch base with the toys, is of course I think we're paralleling parents questioning their purpose once the kids have outgrown the need for them. Very empty nest syndrome-esque.
Oh yeah,
Gotta love it's still the same voice for Andy.
Yeah, John Morris, man. It was. I think he was like in his early 20s when they shot the film because he was 7 during the first Toy Story, and then he had like.
I remember like watching the behind the scenes features. Like Lee Unkrich was like made the call. As like they didn't reach him, but he was like hoping that he still sounded like a teenager.
He got the answering machine. It was perfect. It was the perfect audition. The answering machine.
and he heard his voice. He breathed a sigh of relief.
Yep.
I only know him for the Toy Story movies and Nightmare Before Christmas. That's all I know him for.
Yep. When the army men go AWOL, there's something for you. It's like I was so freaked out when I saw it for the first time. No, not the army men. No, he left the movie.
And when you watch it now, hearing Arlie Ermy say a farewell, that's got a new layer to it.
Two things that I think kind of bring new layers to it. One, obviously, the Arlie Ermy thing, for sure. Very poignant. But also, I love the fact that the army men kind of set up the idea of lost toys that we're going to, like, really, really build upon in Toy Story 4.
And it's not running due to like real life references, like the army men are the first to go.
Yep. I mean, if these guys, the most kind of like militaristic, kind of straightforward, like they're always like they're going with the cause here, man. They're like if they go AWOL, you establish a sense of hopelessness. If they've left, we're in trouble.
Yeah, totally.
Like these were like
so much for a good soldier never leaves a man behind. Well, we never leave a man behind. We never said we leave plural of people behind. Bye, out the window.
All right, so should we talk about the trash bags?
Yeah,
Well, I mean, we already talked about the
Oh, yeah.
animation, but
Yeah, you're
Okay,
right.
one
Yeah,
little
yeah.
thing, just some little background detail I want to mention. So, in the background of some shots, Andy has a pennant that says "PU." Is that a Dover Boys reference?
No, it's not a Dover Boys reference. It's for
Fuck!
Pixar. It's for Pixar University, man.
That's dumb.
No, it's not.
Okay, I guess you're right,
All
but
right, guys, break it up.
Anyway, okay,
okay,
so
okay.
what I was getting at with the trash bags, I mean, when you rewatch the movie, I just love the we set up the stage for Act 3 yet again here with the trash bags, where the toys almost get thrown away, and we see just we just set up how scary is the idea of our toys ending up in a garbage truck and a whip.
And we see Sid.
Yes, we do. We
Yes,
see Sid
that's
and an
one of my
age
all-time
buster.
favorite Pixar cameos.
Yeah. Isn't he singing whatever he's singing? Isn't that what he hums in the first movie when he gets home?
I mean,
It could be. It could be.
I haven't double checked on it, but it's what I've heard.
Speaking of which, that's also Eric Van Detten
Yep.
returning.
yes.
Oh God, that's wonderful.
Yeah, they brought them all back. Yeah. I always love like Buzz's haunting reaction when Andy's putting the toys away in the garbage bag and you see just he's choosing between Buzz and Woody. Of course, Woody going to college and Buzz and Woody. I just love the thing that's always stuck with me is Buzz's face when he goes in the garbage bag. Where it's like,
God,
guys.
what if Andy just tossed Buzz out the window?
Oh God, fucking Luke Skywalker style, like Last Jedi, just like nope.
Yeah, and Buzz was like, "Oh no, not again!"
So,
well, you can't blame Woody this time.
so actually, this did happen to Lee Unkrich in real life. He threw away a bunch of his wife's toys, I believe, by accident.
Oh man.
Which,
I work taking donations for a thrift store, and I definitely have had experiences where people have accidentally donated a bag of toys from their childhood, and they come desperately looking for them.
Yep.
And yeah. I mean, they always, they never get angry about it, but they're always very sad. And I'm like, I'm so sorry.
Can't blame them.
yeah.
So basically, the big takeaway, I guess, through all that is in the face of change, again, big opera thing of the film. We panic and we head to the familiar and secure ASAP, which is where Jesse gets the idea, hey, guys, I've got an idea. Let's go to the daycare, man.
I'd like to take a minute, just stop right there and tell you how we wound up at Sunnyside Daycare.
How long have you been working on that?
Maybe last night trying to get to sleep. I don't remember. That would be the earliest.
I'm impressed. All right. I hope you're proud of yourself.
Is that your eclectic way of saying we should talk about Sunnyside?
No. Not necessarily. No.
Right,
well, I think we should talk about Sunnyside, though. I think we're there.
Okay.
Yeah. So a caterpillar room, but no Heimlich.
Yeah, that is kind of a missed opportunity. There could
Well,
have
okay.
a Heimlich sticker on the wall or something.
He was in Toy Story 2, though.
That's true.
Yeah.
We're not to a movie, but it's a Bug's Life 2.
Wait, Heimlich, it's not a Bug's Life 2. Then what movie is it?
Well, deep cut, there is a vending machine in this movie, so...
So Sunnyside, I'm going to just go out of my way to say that Sunnyside is probably the single best location in the Toy Story franchise.
It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. This is kind of like a bottle movie in a way.
It is, but I love the dimension and layers and kind of like the scandal going on at Sunnyside.
They managed to make a toy full of daycares terrifying.
Yeah, man, they really do. How it's got this kind of false facade.
Yeah.
I remember the most brilliant thing. I was so blown away by
it's
this.
just hard for me to, say how can you top Pizza Planet, at least in theory, but you make excellent points. Convincing
I think thematically it tops Pizza Planet. Pizza Planet might be the coolest.
Thematically in development, it's just
right. But don't get me wrong. I still don't get why the Imagineers haven't put their entire elbow grease behind a Pizza Planet and just done it we're gonna retheme Red Rockets and call it a day. Yeah, this is totally Pizza Planet, guys. Good job. Anyway, sorry. That was uber specific to the Disneyland crowd.
Yeah. So when I was watching this for the first time way back when, I was so struck by the brilliant pull that, oh my God, they're going they're going for the old tin toy draft of Toy Story, where again the ending of that story was Tinny and the ventriloquist dummy ended up in a preschool where they would never, they would always be played with as the kids kept rolling in. So that was the ending to the original draft. They have to go on their little road trip, and that's where they end up. And I just thought it was such a brilliant refurbishing of that idea. And it's like, yeah, it would be, again, I'm a big fan of illogical logic when it comes to the Toy Story movies. And we do a lot of it here. We do gobs of it here. And of course, like, yeah, it would be like a logical retirement community for toys, which is great. Like, yeah, I mean, the caterpillar, the butterfly room being the retirement community, caterpillar room being a nightmare.
Rex's tail!
Yeah, I just, I really... Oh, God.
Yeah, that definitely was an affecting moment the first time seeing this, when his tail came off.
It's funny when I got
let's talk about that moment, man. That whole horror movie montage. It's got to be one of the most memorable sequences in the movie.
I love Buzz's realization right, like the last second, right before it happens. Rex, and then of course he has like that little moment.
Closing.
Oh yeah, it's like it's basically like oh crap, this is gonna suck.
Yep, the unanimous
face.
Yeah,
it's basically Buzz going, "This is gonna suck."
Yep. Yeah, the whole sequence, basically, again, kind of like the rough play sequence with the younger kids. It's just it's based on Lee Unkrich. He saw like an out of control day at preschool once. When he went to like a parents' orientation, and it was a nightmare. So he kind of based it on that, like just kids running wild, like wrecking the toys, and oh god, it's horrible. Here's the thing: I always
think this scene has got to be like one of the most horror slanted scenes that Pixar's ever done. Honestly.
It's like the lighting too. It has that like the minute the kids in the room, you have that. What's the?
It's daylight horror.
No, it's not. I mean, yeah, sure, but I mean, it's like the. What's the? It's like the.
I know what you're talking about.
Fluorescent, the fluorescent light. That's what that is. Like the old fluorescent light. Anyway, so my favorite detail in the whole thing is the realistic transfer. Because if you've had toys over time, you're going to see that toys do get like a transfer. Like if they ever hit something else or something, you're going to have like a little paint transfer there, and we see that throughout the abuse that the toys go through here. Which I was so blown away by that the first time. Like, oh my god, look at all the detail in the animation we're doing here. We're showing there's consequence, mind you. We do kind of do. I'm glad they did this, mind you. Like we kind of restored them to pristine condition with the little hose at the end of the movie. But we're all good. It's fine. I'll suspension disbelief. It's fantastic. I'll give it a break. No problem.
Okay, so let's talk before we get to the big bear in charge. Let's talk about Ken.
He's fun.
Yeah, Michael Keaton is always a joy, and this performance as Ken is just hysterical. It's a lot of fun. I
think Judy Benson as Barbie might be one of the MVPs of the trilogy in this movie. I forgot how kick-ass Barbie is in this movie.
I apologize for this, but just commenting. So we have a character in this voiced by Jodie Benson, and in this movie that has characters like Rex and Trixie.
Yes.
Piece it together.
Wallace Shawn, Jodie Benson, Kristen Shaw.
I have no idea what he's getting at.
You got the voice of Ariel with characters, the type of species that Rex and Trixie are.
Dinosaurs?
All right. Yeah, I know what he's getting at. All right, Monkey. Cute. Very cute.
Anyway.
Rex.
Okay, so I really love I love that Ken has a complex about being a sentient accessory. That's really funny. As Mr. Potato Head says later, he's a purse with legs. And again, I love Ken having a complex like that. Where you're not really you're not a GI Joe. You're not like V-Pop. You're not the main toy to get here. You complete the set, and you're the accessory.
Yeah.
And also just the idea of being a boy toy or a girl toy. Some progressive issues going on there that I think Pixar was hitting on like way before their time. Really cool stuff there. And I think that the thing that really impresses me about Ken is just the fact that they're able to make him so likable, and yet he does legitimately kind of pose a threat throughout most of the movie.
Right.
And you still don't really know what side he's on.
He's kind of for a while he's basically Lotso's third.
Yeah, exactly.
KNF.
Well, at least his second in command, and Baby's more like his personal bodyguard.
Sure. Here's the thing. I read on Ken, like going back to the movie, is that I feel Ken is like a lonely character looking for friends. He's in with the wrong crowd with Sunnyside. And again, he did kind of come to the front. He spelled out for the folks at the end. The guy was a good guy. Just he's very lonely and missing his other half by definition. He's missing the Barbie. You never had that.
He was a good guy doll.
Dragging Ken is NoHo Hank.
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
Yeah.
He just wants to have a good time and have hospitality and have nice parties. But no, all these jerks are crowded as five, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Should we talk about the Woody breakup scene? That's a big scene.
Yes, and it's also maybe my one kind of nitpick with the movie. It's not bad. It's good. It's got some pathos to it, especially Woody not shaking Buzz's hand.
I know that moment always gets me. Like, oh,
yeah. My one argument is that we're yet again going down this path of like, oh, they think Woody's a liar, even though it's just a weird misunderstanding.
Well, it's not Tiki. It's not entirely they think he's a liar. It's the fact that even if he is telling the truth, they're saying it doesn't really make much of a difference. It's the fact they're in this situation.
Dragon, I get that. I understand. But what I'm saying is that, like, I feel like by bringing the whole potential liar into it, it kind of muddies the waters a little bit.
Yeah, and what he is.
I mean, they're not really hung up on it though.
Well.
It's like it's just I'll admit it maybe comes off like they're just not listening to reason in that regard. But by the same token, though, it's that Woody's making a promise that he has no way.
Look, I'm saying it's a great scene, and I'm saying I'm just saying like for me structurally, it's a little bit of a like okay, we've kind of done this before.
Mm.
You can't deny that in all the Toy Story movies, Woody having trust issues with the other toys is a common theme. Come on.
He didn't really have trust issues in the second one at all.
Yeah, I don't know. I think with the question of...
I mean, second one you do at least...
The thing is, these storytelling tropes are tools, and if it works for the story and it doesn't affect it in any negative way, I mean, it worked well to the movies, so there's really no issue with it at all.
All right,
okay, actually, Jacob. Sure. Well, I mean, look, now you bring it up to you. I now remembered. Oh, yeah, you kind of have the thing with Jesse and two, and you have the thing with. Okay, I see what you're talking about, but by the same token, though, it's a character flaw by all means. I don't know if it's necessarily a problem. It's,
Sure.
All right. Anyway, so let's see.
Okay. Hell. So the chatter phone?
Yes, the chatter telephone, portrayed by the wonderful Teddy Newton. Gotta love Teddy Newton.
Yeah. It's something I really picked up on this time rewatching it was how good his facial animation is. That they can get all the expressions and emotions there, even though his mouth is, fixed.
It's all in his eyes.
It's like painted or a sticker or something. It's all in like a little shifting.
I think painted or something, maybe a sticker. It's funny. About a month after this movie came out in theaters, I was walking around in San Diego before something I was doing there, passed by this toy store, and they had the exact phone.
Nice.
I was tempted to buy that phone, but I
the classic Fisher Price phone. I remember having one when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Oh, I definitely had one when I was a kid. Absolutely.
It's like the animation's all in his eyes. It's good eye animation technically.
Oh yeah.
Not non-blinking too, so that makes it even more impressive.
I mean, he has lids, but nevertheless,
it's like you take down that monkey.
Oh God.
Really good.
Let's build to the monkey because we kind of got to introduce our main bad guys first.
We got to talk about the Lotso of it all.
Yeah.
So Lotso.
Hugging bear.
I actually have a Lotso.
Remember the live action commercials they did for the Lotso?
Yeah, and they even did a Japanese one.
Yep.
Strawberries.
Yeah, I gotta say that bear does have a nice smell to him.
Strawberries.
Yep.
You gotta love how they're able to wipe away like so. Oh, is this a toy of a bad guy? No, it's this particular Lotso went bad. It doesn't apply to all Lotsos.
True.
That was clever of them.
This Lotso doesn't have a cane, so you know he's not the bad guy.
So this Lotso, I'm just gonna with the rewatch, it just kind of like affirms to me that this is the best villain Pixar's ever done, and it's not even really that close.
I'd have to re-examine it all, but that is very possible. I'd agree. Yeah.
So Lotso, it's a brilliant Ned Beatty performance, and it's just a great reveal. Because I remember going to this movie, and they're really selling Lotso as like the friendly kind of guy, like the Sala of the movie. Welcome to the new town.
If I remember right, there was still some kind of sinister edge to him in the trailer.
There's like one bit in the trailer. It's the lighting during the whole. Oh, they just
love new toys, don't they?
That's the only moment. But again, it's like the rest of it's like they're really selling you on like welcome to Sunnyside. Like I'm a hugger. It's like of course. Oh boy, he's a few letters off on that one. But yeah,
it's like that's the bear that was in Up that was going to be a new Toy Story character. Yeah. There he is.
Always bringing the old Southern hospitality, but again, there's like a veneer of over controllingness underneath it all right there with him. I mean, I love my favorite bit of the Southern charm. I think my favorite Lotso line when he's trying to be all nicey nice is F.A.O. my Schwartz.
It's a wonderful euphemism anyhow.
F.A.O. my Schwartz.
It's just the one's a great F.A.O. Schwartz gag too. It's just like oh, it's just really funny.
Classic toy store.
Yep, absolutely. And of course a Tom Hanks movie as well. Well, I mean like you go to in a Tom Hanks movie, so it's kind of funny. Anyway,
like kids also know from Home Alone 2.
True. So let's see. So of course, Lotso. I love too. I want to break down a scene here. So let's talk about the scene he has with Buzz Lightyear. I mean, I love that scene. Holds up really well on the rewatch. It's such kind of an eerie and scary scene when you really look at it.
It's like the line when you know everything's about to go to hell. Hell to just like tie him back up. Basically,
put him back in the timeout chair.
Yeah, that's the line. Yeah, he tries like.
But I love how it's like even now rewatching it again, where it's like obviously I know that Lotso's evil. Obviously, I still got kind of suckered in a little bit. Like, what's going on? Why is our guest tied up?
I know that's what I'm talking. Why is tied up?
Basically, how fast he switches basically shows how manipulative he is.
And also, there's a great little clue early on when he has like a really uncomfortable exchange with Woody. I mean, basically, you can see Woody's just not liking this guy from the outset. When like Lots says, "Oh, you lost your kid, did you, Sheriff?" Like, oh, like someone, like it's his loss, Sheriff, and he moves on. And you can see like Woody's giving like the eyes. Like, I don't trust this guy.
Yeah.
Really good. So yeah, of course that Buzz Lightyear scene, like Buzz being the family man, he's trying to smooth things over this whole tying him up in bounty and gagging him thing. Like, oh no, he can be our lieutenant. This toy's a keeper. He's a keeper, Ken. Yeah, that old thing, of course, goes completely south with he's a family man. Just the chilling turn, the callous brainwashing, calling the bookworm. He's going. He knows exactly what to do to him here, and we get one of the great pieces of illogical logic in the whole franchise here, where actually we kind of reveal why Buzz went Duluth in the first place in this movie.
Demo mode.
Yep.
Essentially, Buzz was kind of an advanced toy of the '90s back then, and he had I imagine what then was probably kind of the new setting, the demo mode. He had the demo mode. All Buzzes are in demo mode when they get open from the box, and they're crazy.
Kind of like the Buzz in the second one.
Exactly. That guy's still stuck in demo mode. And I guess through the course of Toy Story, once he makes the mental switch, it goes back to play. I guess if he can kind of close his helmet just in the inanimate mode, who cares? The point being,
the second one still believes Zurg is his dad.
Yes, just funny.
So that one could probably still be delusional to this day.
What's really interesting about this scene, if you look at Buzz as a character in the whole franchise, we're confronting Buzz with his toy-like nature progressively each movie, and it's literally he's like a little switch in his back. He can be reset, and the minute Buzz hears like a term, he's reading the instruction manuals, like set him back to factory mode. Buzz knows what that means. Like he's going to lose his memory. He's going to lose all the memories of his friends, his family, his progress, everything. Like he's like, no. It's like that's a really great thing.
I mean, there's absolute terror in his voice too.
I know, that's what I'm saying. What Tim Allen does in that scene is just it's oh god, it's chilling. So like and we hear the echoes to the caterpillar. No, and like when the screws are getting out there, it really hurts them for a second there. With like they're
and the B&L batteries.
Yeah, the by and large batteries. Oh yeah.
It was good to see Tim Allen actually get something to do in a Toy Story movie.
Sure. So but I love again, like Buzz Lightyear loses everything in that moment. It's a big scene. So continuing on the path of the evil stuff Lotso does, we should talk about the flashback.
Yeah, well,
You
let's talk
gotta
about
love how it's like,
Baby first of
you
all.
get the audience laughing when you see what Chuckles looks like, and then we go into the depressing flashback, or the sad story, I mean.
Yeah.
Well,
Look,
it's still
Chuckles is hilarious. Just the idea, like he's just this clown with this big old frown on his face.
voiced by the late great Bud Lucky.
Oh yeah, God blame. Bud Lucky actually pitched the original opening for the movie, not the one they ended up using for the. But again, they did like a more serious Sergio Leone Western opening. That was all Bud Lucky more than that.
Oh, nice. I think this might be my favorite Bud Lucky cameo.
Of course, big claim to fame. Bud Lucky made Woody a cowboy. It's the huge claim to fame the man has. So Chuckles, definitely one of the big standout scenes of Toy Story 3 is the Chuckles flashback story. Is the haunting development we give Lotso. The idea is Lotso essentially, when boiled down, especially on the rewatch, is that Lotso is the evil parallel to Woody in the Toy Story franchise. Like, what if Woody intentionally pushed Buzz out the window? That would be Lotso.
Oh yeah.
And what if basically all the issues Woody was basically, what if Woody didn't get over his issues in the first Toy Story movie? What if he let his insecurities consume him and change him in a really negative way, where like he became the Black Friday Woody? Became the Black Friday. Yeah, exactly.
I was actually just about to say, so he's basically Black Friday. Yes,
exactly. What essentially, but with the Southern comfort added on to it. But yes,
it's a Western comfort.
Yes. So another thing kind of parallels in Woody, I guess, is like, he's a toy that lost faith in his owner. Woody, all throughout this movie, he has complete faith in Andy and his owner. Like, Andy's going to put us in the attic. He's going to put you. We're all going to be fine there. If he has kids of his own one day, we'll be out of the attic. It'll be great. He's got faith things are going to work out. Lotso, he put his faith in his kid, and it was not rewarded, and it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, I gotta
to
say,
see.
that first time seeing this movie, it wasn't the ending or the incinerator or the goodbyes or whatever. That wasn't what almost got me teary-eyed. It was Lotso finding out he'd been replaced. Like, I didn't quite hit tears, but I was getting there. That's what got me.
It gives you chills, if not tears. Just that scene you see, and you sort of hear we see Lotso crack in front of your eyes when the eyes change. He turns his back on ownership.
Yeah, have you noticed how in the flashback you got that yellowy color filter, except for Lotso, and then that goes away when he finds out he's been replaced.
Oh yeah.
Once again, it's kind of bringing up the idea of Lost Toys, a movie before Toy Story 4.
Right.
Oh yeah. And he basically turned all that hatred into ambition. Essentially, think about the Lotso Huggin' Bear, just by definition, by the name, is a character who's all about companionship and being there for a kid. That's the whole hook of the toys. Kids hug the bear. That's the whole toy. By design, if he can't have that, he's basically working on an empty gesture. He just doesn't want to be alone, but he's not doing it out of like legit friendship and everything, or fulfilling his purpose anymore, because he doesn't believe in his purpose anymore. He's all about, we're all just things designed to be thrown away and replaced. So by definition, I'm just trying to fill a need now.
We're just waiting to be thrown away. That's all toys are.
Basically, he has playtime on his own terms, and all these toys are going to be. As Ken says, he stacked the pyramid with himself on top. It's essentially what the deal is. There, he's like, I'm going to make sure no toy in this place suffers the way I did. So he kind of sainted himself through his trauma, which is really haunting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's basically rigged the systems, basically in reverse, almost like the toys. Basically, the toys don't go where they should be. Basically, to teach them a lesson.
Yeah.
Basically, I'm the one in charge around these parts.
You have to kind of break their spirits, essentially, and then they'll be like slobberingly grateful, like, you know what? You can enter the butterfly room now. They'll follow whatever he says, just like the other guys.
Basically he trusted his kid too much, and basically the replacement turned him into a nihilistic monster.
He's the guy who essentially has made all the other toys his toys. He's kind of reclaimed ownership over toys, which is really weird when you kind of look at the scales of how the whole universe of the movie works. Where again, the toys are kind of designed to be his playthings in this film, which is creepy.
Oh yeah. All right. Should we transition into Woody's time with Bonnie's toys? Because I feel like we can get through that pretty quickly.
Yeah, sure.
There is one moment that I really love. other than that, I think it's kind of fillery, to tell you the truth. I
Well,
like
we
the
need to
characters.
establish Bonnie for the ending. That's the whole point of the scene.
We do. I like the characters, don't get me wrong, but I think we do a lot more with the characters in Forky more than anything else. And Forky asks a question. I think that's the best use of these characters. But I love the playtime sequence. You know, when Woody
Right.
finally gets to have playtime again, and you can see the emotion on inanimate Woody, and that's a great scene.
I love how different kind of playrooms, as it were, like different toys that belong to different kids have a different hierarchy, and here they're a part of an acting troupe. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Especially Prickle Pants.
Especially Mr. Pricklepants.
Well, excuse me, I'm trying to remain in character.
Wonderful Timothy Dalton. Seriously, one of these days we gotta see a movie with Timothy Dalton and Tony Dalton. That's what we gotta see.
God, you keep pitching that.
I know, but we gotta see it though. It'd be great.
And maybe
Okay.
Leonardo replaces his role as Rick Dalton.
Oh God, yes. Oh
The
God,
Dalton
I'm Rick
trifecta.
fucking Dalton. I'm
Alright.
Rick Dalton.
You're Rick fucking Dalton, and don't forget.
So we established Bonnie
Sorry.
definitely as a kid with an offbeat imagination. That's kind of what we do in this scene. You know, she throws herself in the playtime, which I think I did a little bit as a kid as well. You know, like you kind of have the action figures and you kind of throw yourself like in the perspective of the. You know, it's kind of nice.
Yeah, no, this isn't the ending, but screw it. It's, topic of Bonnie. I'll bring it up now. I'm still kind of surprised they've never done a Halloween overlay for Midway Mania where one of the games is in a haunted bakery.
Yeah, well, you know, the game actually does the haunted bakery story.
Yeah, I think I
well,
heard about that.
Yeah, in Toy Story 3, the PlayStation 3 game, again 3, go figure. They that's what they did there was they do like it's like a post-credit adventure of the whole game. If you play the story mode, at the very end you get to do the haunted bakery story, which is kind of fun.
What
Nice,
the hell?
nice.
Imagine yours.
Doesn't the haunted
No,
Bakery-
in general, I think that Midway Mania should be swapped out a lot more than it is.
And yes,
Yeah,
Jacob,
that was
they
like
do.
the one time they did really was for when this movie came out.
And yeah, Jacob, they do a haunted mansion thing in the Toy Story 3 game. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So do the Haunted Mansion Holidays gingerbread houses come from the haunted bakery?
Questions for someone with a higher pay grade, my friend. Higher pay grade. Let's see. Should we talk about Spanish Buzz and basically the whole like Kubrick Buzz and Spanish Buzz of it all?
Yeah,
Well, that's
Spanish
their
Buzz
excuse
is
for keeping
like-
a churro stand in the Toy Story area of Pixar Pier, even though there's a Pixar movie that has churros in it. But no, we'll just leave that in a spoilerific billboard.
I think people would be afraid to eat the chorizos after Coco.
I wasn't talking about that. I'm just talking churros.
I know you're talking. I'm just bringing up a different food.
Well,
or
chorizo- Well, chorizos are different than churros.
I know that. I'm just bringing up never mind.
You broke dragon.
All right. Yeah, Spanish Buzz is definitely one of the best kind of bits of comic relief in the whole original trilogy, I would say.
I wish I spoke Spanish so I could recite him.
And again, they actually got the guy who does the Spanish. By sheer coincidence, was not intentional. They got the actual guy who did the dub of Spanish Buzz for the toys.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, that's great. That's wonderful.
Buzz Lightyear Rescate!
And how he's like,
Gale.
I love how basically he's like almost like a braver version of the real Buzz.
Jacob, it's very interesting you bring up that point because that's what's really clever about that. Where basically Buzz and Jesse's relationship. If you look in the movie, Buzz, he's definitely of the shy sort. He's been kind of in stasis for the 11 years. Where basically the Spanish Buzz brings out his internalized feelings. So they kind of manifest himself through kind of this Latin lover persona.
Senorita.
We'll light the galaxy aflame with our love.
God.
Oh boy.
I don't know the line in Spanish, so I'm doing it in English.
Well, I know what Monkey's line was. El Maqueo. So
El Vaquero.
let's see. So yeah, that's the thing with Spanish Buzz. It's such a fun complication of one. We had diluted Buzz. So here's the thing I want to break. So we had Kubrick Buzz before Spanish Buzz, and that was basically what if we misguided the reset Buzz Lightyear into essentially working for the dark side as a prison guard? Like, what if we did that? What if
In the box.
in the box? If you step out of line, you spend the night in the box. Just really funny, but also really formidable too. Getting to see Buzz Lightyear spring into action, man. It's been a while since we've seen that. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Anyways, a very Superman 3-esque. It's like, oh god, you're seeing the net. It's a little unholy seeing Buzz Lightyear be a bad guy.
Or like Donkey Kong Jr., where you see Mario kidnap the original Donkey Kong and his son has to save his father.
A little bit like that, yeah.
And so yeah, Spanish Buzz, like
Spanish Buzz.
yeah, it's like where's my spaceship?
That's I love that it's such a fun complication that now he's been reset. Basically, he's going through the original Toy Story arc, but again with it on a different language setting. So like no one's ever going to sleep. Right. We're not going to be able to set things straight. I mean, here's what they should have done in a pinch, but they didn't think because it was a chaotic situation. Like, okay, someone bring the instruction manual so basically we can economize. I will go sailing no more into 5 seconds. Let's just give him the book. And think, but again, we would have no fun.
It's like basically.
Oh my God.
That'd
be wonderful if Spanish Buzz had like a little mini "I'll go sailing no more" moment.
But essentially, that's what would have happened if they weren't in a hurry to escape. They would have had to do all that.
It's just kind of funny to think about that. Pretty much throughout the entire time, Spanish Buzz really has no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
He's basically like, "Wait, where am I? What's going on? Why am I go flying into trash? Who's that talking bear?"
Yeah. All right. So let's see. So all of this within the prison escape.
Yeah. Also, Mr. The Tortilla.
Yeah. What's the thing? Within the prison escape, we get Mr. Tortilla Head, which is an Andrew Stanton idea, by the way.
Yeah. God, that's so fucking brilliant.
I love like the Frankenstein construction.
Right.
Yeah, the symbol monkey.
Monkey.
Yeah, I
Take
know.
out that monkey.
As you guys, in case you guys are curious, Lee Unkrich adores monkeys. He loves chimps and monkeys and all things of the sort. So
You ever talk about him talking about like his son, like change up to the end credits here, like his son's favorite scene in the movie was the scene with the monkey with the sunglasses.
At the very with the star glasses at the end. Now, Monkey, let me ask you this: did you ever see the bonus features for Monsters Inc.?
Which are we talking about?
Like the Easter eggs and stuff. Well, I mean, in a number of the bonus features on the Monsters Inc. DVD, you saw the behind the scenes. You saw a chimp that they got at Pixar. Basically, everyone was working on. For many people who worked at Pixar, eventually a part of the reason when they came there's like, hey, where's the monkey? We thought the monkey was going to be here. This brought in for like
seen this.
Really funny. It's basically here's the thing: they never address it. There is a monkey in the behind the scenes, and they never address it. And basically, years later, into like a round table, say, "Oh yeah, we got in there just for the bonus features because it'd be really funny." And Lee Unkrich had the ball at a ball because he loves that sort of stuff, and he worked a lot of that in here with
I'm just trying to.
I'm
just trying to double check if California Adventures Tortilla Factory closed the same year this came out.
With the monkey thing, I love Woody and Slinky teaming up like the oldest friends before Buzz Lightyear rolled around.
Yeah, totally. I also had that feeling. It was very nostalgic for sure.
Seeing Slinky Dog come in for the save when he's cymbaling poor Woody's head, and he's like,
I might be old, but I still got a spring in my step.
They were able to keep Slinky in the movie.
Blake Clark.
Yeah, the great Blake Clark.
Right. Yeah. Okay. The Tortilla Factory closed in 2011. So.
Oh my God! God rest it, right, Rob? God rest its soul. Let's just do a couple Hail Marys in its honor.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You know what's funny about the Slinky thing? I remember like one of the promotional things for Toy Story 3. My favorite of all the promotional things. They did a commercial for Visa, I believe, and they're like you're at like a Walmart or something, and you have the toy, maybe a Target. I don't know. You're at a place, and basically the girl's buying a Buzz Lightyear toy, and the toys are animated, and they're like no, look, Buzz is going to be purchased. We got to save him. They're running along the shelves, and they all get weeded out. And the last thing is like it's Woody, Jesse, and Slinky. And Slinky awesomely, he just runs like grab my tail like mid run. He doesn't even stop. I grab my tail. He just runs off the side. They grab his back end.
Here, take the lamp.
I see what you did there.
Sorry. Go ahead, try again.
Good times.
The point being, the last thing, Slinky heroically jumps off to save Buzz to no avail, and they reveal it was the wrong Buzz. So they're saying, hey, they're selling Buzz Lightyear. Why don't you purchase something along the point being is a really awesome Slinky Dog.
They had enough dolls to meet demand.
Yes.
That's what I call a Slinky Dog Dash.
Yes.
There's some point in this movie where Rex is like, oh, why can't time move faster? And watching it this time, I was thinking, I'm sure everyone's thought that while they were in line for Midway Mania or Slinky Dog Dash.
Or just on Slinky Dog Dash.
The boy Slinky, he has some really nice moments in this one, especially like when it's a little slight tense moment. We're on the dumpster and like we have this moment where he's reaching the other side, and then Lost just like plops down to be like, "Are you lost, little doggy?" And you just kick Slinky, and they reel him and like, "Oh no, not poor Slinky dog. We've been through enough with Slinky." No,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, there's definitely a Slinky moment I'll bring up later.
Slinky's underrated.
he is, just an old hound dog.
I feel like Slinky Dog Dash has done a lot for Slinky's popularity, though, as theme park attraction.
Slinky's just a really cool design. It's a good design. He's a good
Yes.
character, good-hearted. What's not to love?
It's like and it's like his line of delivery earlier. It's like, we are gathered, Woody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So pumping the prison escape overall, it's very well constructed, classic kind of prison escape caper, as it were. We have the big baby scare.
Oh God.
I love that Big Baby is kind of like the mutant toys from the first movie, where again, Big Baby looks terrifying. Again, like this the old naked strung out baby doll thing with like the prison tats.
Are you talking about the one where he lands on the dumpster, or where he turns his head?
I mean, when he turns his head.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
The musical sting makes that creepy.
Yeah, because he hears like the alien fall, and he's just going after him, and yeah.
It's like it's like something out of The Exorcist, but less creepy.
Certainly, and again, I just love like he's like, there adds a softness and intrigue to the characters looking at the moon, probably thinking of his old owner. It's like that's the beautiful layers we add to Big Baby with the Lotso background. It's really really good idea. All right, let's see. Is there anything else you guys want to get in there before we just kind of get into the big kind of meat and potatoes of it all, or?
How many Pixar characters have Bonnie Hunt and Richard Kind played?
All right, let's see. Richard Kind, that would be
like around 4.
Oh, Richard Kind was the imaginary friend in Inside Out.
Yeah, because he's
Richard Kind should be 4.
Yeah, Bonnie Hunt's around 3. I want to say.
Yeah, wasn't she?
Like Bug's Life, this, and Cars.
Wait, who was she in Bug's Life?
Well, she's the spider.
The spider.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
Rosie.
Yeah, it's 3 for Bonnie Hunt. Okay.
Oh no, Richard Kind. I mean, I know he was Bing Bong in Inside Out, but who else was he?
Hopper's brother. He's Hopper's brother, and then one of those 2 tourist cars in the first tourist movies.
All right.
Okay, so I guess we should talk about kind of like some of the big catchy moments of the film then.
Just in general, just all of Act 3.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. Let's talk about let's get to the big stuff, kids. We've
Welcome to hell.
On a sillier note, I'm going to pretend that the TV set that falls on Spanish Buzz is the one from the end of The Room.
Oh God.
Just imagine, he tosses the TV out the window and it lands on Buzz.
You joke about that sort of stuff, but like they're doing some obscure pulls throughout this movie. Like there's references to the. I mean, Leon is a huge Shining fan, a huge Kubrick fan, hence the Kubrick's there on Buzz. But also, like when Woody's being pulled into the dumpster, it's an Evil Dead reference.
And not to mention the carpet from the first movie.
Yeah, carved from the first movie for sure. That's there. That's directly from the Overlook. All that.
And a bigger direct reference is there's a Totoro plush.
Of course.
Oh yeah. And then of course, continuing the theme of the first 3 Toy Stories, having a reference to its corresponding entry in the original Star Wars trilogy. You got Big Baby tossing Lotso over the edge.
Yep, just like Darth Vader with the Emperor. All right, so let's talk about the dump. The Tri-County.
I don't remember if I pointed this out to you, Tiki and Jacob, like when you guys were down here. It's possible, but there's this landfill dump place I drive by sometimes.
Did point it out to me.
Yeah, and every time I think Toy Story 3.
Yeah, I think you have pointed it out to me before, and I agree. It is very Toy Story 3-esque.
I think you put that on the way to the mini golf course, right?
It's a little past there.
I think you might have mentioned it.
So speaking of the big, the TV falling and everything, I love Buzz Lightyear gets this big hero moment. Then I love it when he comes back because Buzz has been out of the equation for a while. And you're not sure what's going to happen with Buzz. This
is the first time he sees Woody since Woody left in his regular Buzz form.
Since they had their falling out too, which is really Woody has this glorious line for Buzz where he wakes up and says like, Woody, where have I been? Beyond Infinity, Space Ranger.
Infinity.
But first, this thing was like,
this was going to be the last movie.
It's this first thing that was like, that wasn't me, was it?
Yeah, of course, classic. Melon joke for you.
Yep.
So I love, now here's what I love most about like the whole the landfill setting here. I love one of my favorite things about the movies. I love how the prospector's final taunt in Toy Story 2 came to pass, and the toys ended up rotting in some landfill. And also, again, he also kind of called out the
prospector. You're in a landfill about to die. I'm just sitting here getting my face painted. Who got the better deal?
And also, kind of called the whole children destroy toys, and again, we kind of saw a little bit of that in the Caterpillar room. So he kind of called a lot in this movie, that's what I'm saying. I love how all the prospectors premonition kind of came to pass here, which is so fascinating. And we see just the landfill is so scary. It's like the toys' worst nightmare. The toys have ended up in hell, and they're nice guys. They shouldn't be there.
Yep.
Then we have just kind of the base of the journey to the incinerator, which is even increasingly terrifying as it sequentially gets more and more terrifying. We go from the
it's like a traditional like haunted house almost, with how it builds up. It just kind of like ramps up. Like okay, like all right, we're going. It's just a bunch of trash, and then there's the thing that we have to go past the magnets with, and then oh my god, hell, just straight up hellscape.
And of course, the aliens getting pushed away.
Oh yeah. When I first saw that, I was like, "Oh Jesus Christ! They just killed the alien. Shit's getting real now."
Yeah, and then they save Lotso, and they think, okay, Lotso might be trying to redeem himself. Like, no, where's your kid now, Sheriff?
In other words, one of the ultimate.
That is a legendary moment.
Oh yeah.
It's like basically at that point. I mean, if he wasn't already past it now, that point was what pushed him past the point of redemption.
What else can you say about Lotso's betrayal that hasn't been said already? Oh.
It's probably the most evil thing done by a Pixar villain. I won't say the most evil thing done by a Disney villain because Frollo exists. But
Frollo's tried to kill babies on screen, so it's.
Right.
Yun is genocidal. So
anyway,
Also, as I said, there's if he wasn't there already, that's basically where Lotso's pretty much lost all hope of redemption.
Also the ultimate matchstick moment for sure, being what the heck's going to happen next for the audience, where you think you're convinced Lotso's going to push the button, he's going to a little redemptive button moment, and where's your kid now, Sheriff?
Get the button, Lotso, and then where's your kid now, Sheriff?
We, the audience, are as helpless and we once become helpless and traumatized. Oh God, there's a matchstick moment. Why now? Oh God, they're gonna die.
Oh, just pointing out, while we're still in this part, when Lotso's seeing the button or something, around that point where he's at the base of the ladder, you guys notice that the score quotes Monsters Inc?
Yeah, I did notice that. That's where he's chasing the cube.
Yeah.
It's I noticed that when I first watched. I was like, wait, that's Monsters Inc. music.
Yeah. Well, again, Randy Newman doing the score. I mean,
Yeah. So there's precedent for Forky using Monsters Inc. music.
Yep. So of course, our guys end up going down to the incinerator. Now, this is Kevin Smith's always joked. This is Schindler's Toy Box when we get to this section here.
Oh, it really is, man. It really is.
It's like the shower sequence
black and white,
from Schindler's List.
Neckerchief.
But no, I mean, it really is just God, I was 20 years old when I saw this in theaters, and even then I was pretty horrified by it. I was just oh my God, are they really? And I gotta say, man, I think we can all agree that they did such a good job of pushing it right to the razor's edge. That sure, they do a total Deus Ex Machina to get us out of it.
Well, yeah, but had admitted so himself. It was a Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah.
Okay, two things about that Deus Ex Machina though. One, it's earned in the moment because goddamn, the moment is so powerful. Two, it's the ultimate payoff to the ultimate running gag of the whole fucking trilogy.
We are eternally. You've saved our lives. We are eternally.
And the claw.
The sound of that. The sound of the audience applauding when the aliens say the claw the first time you see it, that's a sound you can't unhear.
I know.
Oh yeah. Great
like,
stuff.
and
What was
the
it? You know, I
score-
remember sitting there, but with the incinerator scene where they're all heading towards it. And I think I remember like sitting there and being like, wait, but there's that shot with Andy and Buzz and Rex in the trailer that hasn't happened yet.
And again, here's the.
and
Well, that's
not-
the thing. This whole like the whole incinerator sequence again. It's just this
Fuck
honest.
you, trailers.
and for speaking of Randy Newman, his score in this scene is god tier.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
It is.
But like the
Ironically, not the song he did called God Song.
bang.
Yeah,
Point
so
is-
what I was kind of alluding to earlier is like, you notice how something I've noticed is how the last hand Woody takes,
Mhm.
Is
Slinky.
Buzz. Oh, really? Well, wait, sure.
Yeah, you're right.
Buzz
It is Slinky. He goes for Buzz.
He takes
then,
Buzz,
yeah,
you know, that's,
he-
and then he takes Slinky's.
Well, I mean, I like
Yeah,
that he's
no,
holding his
I'm glad you
two
pointed
oldest
this out.
friends'
Yeah,
hands
yeah.
in the left.
Exactly, and
one
then, you
hand
know,
Buzz, one hand
the last one he takes is the oldest.
Uh-huh.
You know, his, you know, right-hand fella from back in the day. And,
Yes,
oh.
it is. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's the thing. So all of our guys here, you know, they've reunited. They're joining hands. They're prepared to die together. And the claw, in many respects, is kind of fate, almost like a reward for the, you know, for being there for Andy all those years. If you think about it, because again, what saves them is an event from Toy Story 2, which the whole "You saved our lives, we're eternally grateful," which again is sort of that. You being there for the kid was like whole Pizza Planet truck, shenanigans from the second movie. So in a sense, like they're kind of being rewarded for their faith after all these years, which is kind of beautiful if you think about it that way. It's like
They still
whole-
managed to work in a reference to the claw earlier in the movie, just in
They
case.
did. I know, just in case when like they have like the little toy construction crane claw thing. And it's
And then when the potato head's like, "You saved our lives," and like, and we are eternally grateful.
Yeah,
This is
sweet.
beautiful. And I love how in Toy Story 4 at the end they kind of pulled that line for Don Rickles' whole in memoriam thing, which is beautiful. But it's but yeah, so the point being, this moment, it's a magical cinematic moment for sure. It's one for the history books that we were all able to kind of see unfold before our eyes, wherever you were. And again, it's we're kind of championing the message is like we're championing hope in the face of the end, in a sense. And basically, the big kind of gobsmacking message of that scene, the moral is, childhood doesn't have to die; it just has to change and or be relocated or refocused. Like you don't have to lose your childhood; doesn't have to die a fiery death. It just has to be refocused or minimized or repackaged in some way, which is kind of what we physicalize in our narrative.
Yeah, repackaged and put it in the attic, come to think of it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, we set up like 3 paths, and I love how it ends up being a 4th path we go to with the movie at the next scene, where it's like they can either go to a daycare, they can go to the attic, or they can go to the trash, which essentially is kind of the full destructive fate. And of course, it ends up being none of the 3.
And let's just say the devil gets his due.
He
Yeah,
does. He does. Lots. So
I think he gets off easy.
He does. But again,
He
it's like
gets-
lots of kind of getting what he wants, but still, like he gets to be
Yeah.
miserable though.
no, you still get. Yeah, you get that sweet moment.
I
Like,
think
I
about
had
it.
one of these when I was a kid.
Strawberry.
But I love that it's not like a
Strawberry.
It would have been wrong if it were like a vengeful death. Like, let's atomize that bear in front of the kids. Like, revenge is cool, kids. Yeah.
like our gang just literally just like finds him and tosses him in the incinerator.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
Like, that would have been the wrong tag. Would've
Yeah,
been-
you know, he
that
gets
would've
the
been
syndrome. Yeah, he gets the syndrome fate.
So, so basically, if you think about it, he's now a prisoner.
Essentially, yeah, it's very
That's
fitting.
great.
But he's also loved. He's loved by not a kid, but he's loved again. He's kind of the whole thing of kids. They're not going to stick around for the toys. Well, here's a big kid essentially in the garbage man who's strapping to the front, which is like an East Coast tradition. I think it's like something like in New York or some places.
I think I saw a Woody tied to a car once.
Well, I wonder where they got the idea.
And now, and he'll have to watch out for flies.
Yep.
But what? So toys can swallow?
I mean, they do have mouths.
Apparently.
Just because they might not be able to swallow doesn't mean get flies in their mouth still won't be pleasant.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. All right.
Insert that Avatar clip of like, just keep your mouth closed so you don't swallow a bug.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's talk
Momo
about
opens his mouth.
the big Andy goodbye.
Big
Yeah. I remember that was certainly a bit of an affecting moment when they get it. First time seeing this, when they get in the room and it's emptied.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that Buzz and Woody go out on good terms with the handshake. It's such a fulfilling moment. We've been building to it. We have like the breakup. We have like the holding hands under duress, and now we're having like, "Hey, Buzz," little hand job. It's beautiful.
And not to mention that scene was like used a lot in their Oscar campaign.
Yeah. Well, how can you not? I mean, that's how it's a fulfilling moment without getting the whole like they almost died in that movie kind of as your main Oscar.
Right.
It made us cry over moving plastic.
Yep.
For your consideration, hell.
So what kind of happens here is so in the empty room scene, we have Andy. Woody has the realization through Andy's mom that Woody's been in the parental role from the very beginning. He's always been kind of in that role. It's been very much paralleling parents' relationships to their children in a sense, especially by the time we get to Toy Story 2. And Woody kind of realizing through this that his job is done with Andy. He's kind of he'll be around as a memento, not really as kind of an active part of the life anymore. He basically uses the adventure he kind of went through in this movie as kind of as a lesson as he's kind of done with the other movies here of I can't leave the toys, my buddies, in this uncertainty where, again, they'll be in the attic until hopefully Andy has kids one day, or hopefully he'll come back and he'll get nostalgic. There's never a promise there. And Woody kind of realizes that, and he kind of learns that you can let the kid go, accept the change, and just be thankful for the memories and the impact of a job well done. Every parent kind of goes through after all these years. Which
It is kind of interesting, looking at that now that we have Toy Story 4 and, the realization that I don't think it degrades this one at all. It's just another interesting layer of how Woody didn't really get over it for some time.
Certainly. Yeah. Just because Woody accepts it doesn't mean like it's going to be a painless process. And it's going to.
Yeah, that's something I like about 4 is how it makes you look back at everything with Woody and Andy, their relationship and such.
Yeah, Toy Story 4 is like what.
But we're talking about 3, so.
4 is like what happens after the empty nest syndrome. That's kind of like this is the empty nest syndrome.
I think again, it just makes you wonder, like what he would have done if he had gone to college with Andy.
Yeah, and I like that. Well, again, we don't want to talk too much about 4, but it's kind of like he's having maybe a little bit of second thoughts about it too, where it's like, it's like maybe I don't know if the point beginning an interesting kind of area with Toy Story 4.
Yeah, at least subconsciously.
Yeah, subconsciously, sure, yeah. So of course the lesson also here it's really great too on the rewatch. I love how the lesson carries over to Andy, where Andy again the paralleling here. Yeah. Andy also has the same realization that Andy has like a coming of age story. Basically, the whole movie is a coming of age story from the toys' perspective, but also Andy on the sly as well. Yeah. Where it's kind of parting with the past. He's parting with the past and passing it down to the next generation, which is a big cornerstone of the film. He's passing along his happiness and his kind of childhood joy to Bonnie, and again they have the last playtime.
Yeah, I love how, just rewinding a touch, I love how we get Andy driving after they've joked about it in the other 2 movies, in the first 2 movies.
Yeah, and at the end of the second one, the whole like, hey, Mom, can I drive? Haha, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, the first one was like, can I drive? Sure, when you're 16. And then at the end of the second one was like, maybe Molly will be old enough to drive soon. Yeah, and I can teach her. And now we actually get Andy driving. It's like a moment of surrealness. Like, oh God, now he's actually driving.
Yeah, the playtime itself. It's this. I'm sorry,
tears, just tears.
Yeah, I'm thinking this ending has a bit more impact for me now than it did then, for whatever reason. Like, especially when Bonnie has Woody wave.
That's always the thing that's gotten to me.
And remember, it's not just you. Yeah. It's like you see Andy caught by that too. You see Andy.
Yeah, exactly. That's like how this is for Andy, like living it through him.
And he just says, "Bye,
Thanks,
guys."
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
So with the playtime itself, I love that it's like an innocent gesture that is kind of like the parting gift for all parties included here, where the toys get the playtime they never thought possible. He's never going to play with us again, where it's like we have like this perfect kind of crafted situation where, it's not like a full-on playtime, but it's a playtime for the kid's benefit. And it's just he gives the proper introductions, so like the kid knows the names of the toys. But obviously,
I got to admit, I literally start crying as soon as he pulls that. Like, this is Jessie.
You know what?
She's the tunedest cowgirl in all the West. And I'm like,
Good to know he figured out Jessie's actual name at some point.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it wouldn't be that hard. It's like a quick little Google back then,
And it's like it's just basically they said their scene was basically inspired by Parenthood.
Absolutely, yes. That's kind of the vibe they're going for, the staging of that scene.
Uh-huh.
Here's the thing: the bit that always got me and still gets me every time I watch that scene is because again I've lived with these toys, man. I mean, just the when he pushes the button on Buzz Lightyear, when he says they actually use the old recorded sound of the Buzz Lightyear toy saying "to infinity and beyond." It's like that's what gets me. Just when I hear that audio, because I've pressed that button all throughout my life, man.
Same.
Not to mention another kicker.
There's
My
the- I-
cowboy.
Yeah, and then of course the big
Yeah,
You
they're
gotta love
taking
the
my boot.
trickery.
Yeah.
The trickery they do with the cinematography when Andy gets out of the car. The camera goes to the college box, and then
and you think Woody's
through
watching
that
from
hole.
he's
Uh-huh.
watching through the box, but like it's a great miss. That's such an excellent reveal. It's a gut wrenching reveal.
My cowboy. That's like, and then he's like hesitant to let him go. And
I
then
know he's holding on to the boot. He's holding on to the boot with Andy on it.
Yeah, and then you can just see like the hesitation and like sadness in just his hands when he's just handing it to Bonnie. It's like, it's like a passing of the torch.
But that last image where
Yeah.
Andy gets caught off guard, he sees that literally his toys, represented by Buzz and Woody, are in good hands with Bonnie, and it's like he faces the world untethered by the past, and he goes on. Of course, that's the one goodbye, and I love this. And this is why I kind of realized the rewatch of Dog after all this time. Then we get the biggest kicker of the whole thing. So long, partner.
Oh yeah.
So this shot, I'm sure Jacob, you know this is
And if
animated.
that's not enough, then we fucking pan up to the clouds, and they're the
I know.
clouds from Andy's room. It's like, come on.
Like at
Come
the start
on.
of the movie.
Now, Jacob knows this, but this is a shot. The last shot was animated by the guys who did. I don't know if it was the shot, but at least one of the very first shots of Woody from the original Toy Story. They gave it to him to do what essentially would have been the last Woody shot. Rich Quaid. He did the first and last shot of Woody, and essentially it's him coming out of the inanimate state, sitting up. If you really think, well, then again, if it was the first shot of Woody, maybe it was like just when the whole like the Western opening. The point being, first shot of Woody. It's a perfect goodbye. Here's the thing: it's the goodbye that Andy felt that he never heard. Like he felt like, in a sense, he kind of felt like Woody was saying "so long, partner" to him. But again, obviously, he didn't hear that. But it's kind of like yet again, like the opening on the phone. The two of them don't speak to each other, but they kind of want to, and it's a beautiful little moment. They're all in good spirits, making the introduction to the new toys. We pan up to the clouds. It's the perfect. It's a perfect finale.
And of course, Randy Newman's score again, as I mentioned before. It's like that. It just brings me even more to tears. Like, dang it.
And of course, luckily, again, very smartly, we have the epilogue just to kind of like solve the hanging chads. Like they know they're alive and everything, but also, because people are crying in their seats right now. Let's get a little laugh and give them the variation on "You've Got a Friend in Me," like the Spanish version. Yeah, a little bit of Zurg, which I was geeking out. Oh my God, it's Zurg!
Un amigo and me.
Adios, amigo, and me, for sure. Yeah.
All right. Speaking of adios, guys, let's get to some final thoughts.
Okay, let's talk legacy.
You got a legacy.
But no, I really do think that this
I'm just
movie.
picturing, like Toy Story Legacy, like Tron Legacy. Like, I'm not
God.
Andy, Woody, but I'm glad to see you.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh God, Monkey! Oh God! All right. This movie does have a huge legacy behind it. I mean, it's clearly like the best Pixar sequel ever. It's among the best Pixar movies ever, just period. And I do feel that in spite of Toy Story 4 not going horrifically wrong and Toy Story 4 holding up in its own right as a great kind of epilogue movie, one of the best epilogue movies that I can think of that simply is just an epilogue at the heart of it, this movie really is such a fantastic conclusion to the trilogy. And I just like, it's almost a miracle that Toy Story 4 works out as well as it does, considering the fact that this movie just stuck to landing just so incredibly well. It's dark, it's dangerous, it's a lot more edgy than the first two Toy Stories in a good way. It grows up with its audience. It's a little bit of a game changer in terms of introducing a time jump into an animated movie, something that I wish they do more of. Incredibles 2.
Oh, come on!
Toy Story 4 didn't even have a time jump, and that released 9 years after this.
Toy Story 4 had a little bit of a time
A
jump.
little bit of one, like a year or two.
But not real time.
Okay.
It was time. Time had passed.
Yeah, like probably a couple
didn't start
months.
literally
There's a
right
time
after.
skip within the movie, 9 years ago, and then
Jacob, all I'm saying is that it didn't start literally right after
Yeah.
Toy Story 3 ended. It didn't start right after So Long Partner. But yeah, Toy Story 3, just, I mean, come on. It's Toy Story 3. That's all you need to know. The legacy kind of speaks for itself.
Yeah. And then the next year was Cars 2.
Womp womp. Right. Yeah, let's wrap this up here. We're
Okay.
going a little long.
I'll end it out, you guys. Anyone else?
Well, yeah, it's Toy Story 3, an excellent conclusion to the Toy Story trilogy when it was a trilogy. And it still works even when you know that there's another movie. But yeah, really well done.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really say anything else than what I've said before, but like, this is basically Pixar at their A game. Like, this is like, they didn't have to make a third one. They didn't have to go as hard as they did, but they would like they didn't just go one. They pretty much went 200% on this, and it shows.
All right. Legacy point for me here. Final thoughts. Pixar, they hit a high point in many respects with this film. This is the high of highs. They could have called it quits if they wanted to. They want to say, we're done as a studio, guys. They could have gone off into the sunset, and they still would have been pretty satisfied. Bear in mind, I'm glad we have Inside Out and Coco and everything of the like. So I'm not going to say let's erase them from time. I'm just saying they could have. So this is an end to an epic with a very satisfying epilogue in Toy Story 4, in my opinion. Each film in the franchise has a magic to it that's not. None of them are quite the same film. They're all really unique and special in their own ways. I mean, it's amazing in terms of speaking to legacy. I mean, look at people are doing shot for shot remakes in live action, doing these Toy Story in real life things. Like there's JP Beyond did on YouTube. You'll find these shot for shot remakes and basically stop motion, basically stop motion with the actual toys. They'd recently, recently, again, I don't know if it was for the anniversary or not. I forget if it was this year or last year this thing came out. They did Toy Story 3 in real life by these McGrew brothers. These guys, it was very impressive, very dedicated. For 8 years, they constructed Toy Story 3. Because you can imagine going from the first movie, which they didn't do the first one, but just again, this point being many people have attempted this. These guys, they put 8 years into it to just do it flawlessly and do the incinerator, the whole 9 yards. You can imagine it'd be difficult. So the Toy Story characters, they've already permeated themselves into the culture. This brought them back at just the right time. They gave the audience comfort, guidance, perspective. Most importantly, brought everyone together like a true animated film should. The film Something Special represents the phenomenon Toy Story became and reflected the audience's love for the characters within the screen itself. So this movie, Something Special, I'm so glad it's stuck around for 10 years and it's going to keep on sticking around. We're going to be able to keep on watching. It's a good thing.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Big thanks to Clog Turinga in the comments. You guys are awesome. Toy Story 3 is awesome. Can't wait to do some more Disney content with you guys in the future. We'll be talking Plus and Us, talking about the Mandalorian making of the Disney Vault on the Mandalorian soon, as well as a Pixar Spark short that we're going to be coming soon. So some Disney content on the horizon. I can't guarantee that we'll be covering Artemis Fowl, just because by all intents and purposes, I've heard it's a waste of time and in a fun way. But yeah. All right. So thank you guys for watching, folks, and to infinity and beyond.
So long, partners.
I
don't know.
Toys. We're all just toys. We can get thrown away.
El Vaquero.
I don't know.